Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you post my own story as anonymous? I am a woman who is staying here in South Africa. My name is Tande, not a real name, but I truly do not even know where should I start with my own story. Like everything just went wrong in my life. It all started when I was in grade 8. I was still very young. When I started dating my father's friend, you won't even believe it. Even the day that my mom found out, she started crying because she knew that the consequences of my mother's best friend, who was also the wife of the man that I was dating, they were going to be hectic. And she then found out. She came and she was very angry and she was insulting everyone, including my dad, because this man, the only way that we could see each other is when he would come to our house, and when he would see that my dad would be so drunk, he would then come to my room and we will do whatever that we wanted to do until the time when I discovered that I had fallen pregnant for such an old man. The only solution that I had was for me to abort the baby. I don't know if this was the work of the devil, because the very place where I went to, that was the very place where I started to have connections with those other Nigerian guys who later told me that there were other ways to make money as a woman, to use your private parts, to use your womb. Yes, by the time that I was in grade 11, I would go to this other Nigerian fella. This man, he was in communication with other healers. What they would do is that they would come and they would insert some charms into my private parts. I would even feel that there will be something that will be growing in my womb, but maybe around about 3 to 4 weeks, then I would feel as if someone who is bloated. My stomach will be so stiff. When I would return back to that Nigerian dude, he would then say, it is time for you to get paid. Then there will be a sangoma that will be waiting. It did not matter if it was a Mozambican guy or someone who is from our country who would be waiting for that thing that will be growing inside my womb. What I used to see is that whenever they would give me some medicine, then I'll start to experience those labor pains. I used to laugh that I went into labor multiple times before I had fallen pregnant, like carrying a little human being in my own womb. What I would see is that by the time that they would take me at the back of this other house, which belonged to this other Nigerian dude, there was a bed there, and there were a few other girls that we were working with. So it was always busy at his place because we used to be impregnated one after the other. When I would check the time that the thing would come out of my private part, it used to look like some small animal, more like a rat, but filled with fur, so much that you will not be able to see its face, how it looked like, even the eyes, the nose, nothing. It will be covered from head to toes, just like a fairy ball that would come out full of blood. Then that man will clean it up. Then the sangoma will accept it in a ritual way, and then there will be that financial transaction. Whilst I'll be in pain sleeping on that bed, that is when the financial transaction will take place. What they used to do is that, let's say if they would give me like 8K, that was the maximum payout that we would be given for carrying those creatures in our wombs. So from the 8K, what they will do is that they would take 8 rand, then they would take 80 rand, then they would take 800 rand. All of this money, I don't know where they would take it to, but I still remember what they will do is that with the 8 rand coins, then they would put it in my own blood. Like when you give birth as a woman, there will be a lot of blood that will be involved. They will just dip it into the blood, those coins, then they would place it in a small clay container. After that, they would take that 80 rand, then they would also dip it until the money will be soaked in blood and also put it in the container. Then they would take the 800, also soak it in blood, then they would soak it with blood, and then they will put it in the container as well. I don't know, maybe this was the tax that they were paying to the devil wherever they would take the money. I don't know, I don't even know. So by the time that I turned 21, that was when he told me that I was no longer suitable to continue with those rituals. And that was the time when I really needed money, because when I was in high school, with the money that I was getting, all that I would do is I would go clubbing, buy expensive phones, expensive clothes and everything. By the time that I had finished high school, I thought that this was a hustle of a lifetime, knowing that after a month, then I would go get my 8K. In the meantime, I will be dealing with these other Nigerian friends, sleeping with them, making money in between the hustles. And there was even a time when I went on a trip with one of his boy. This was a man who later wanted to sacrifice me. When I say that this man, he wanted to sacrifice me, like literally, this ritual was supposed to take like in flesh and blood. He really wanted to kill me physically. What this man did was that there was a place where we were supposed to go to. Then after he had told me, because he called me almost around about 9 p.m. and I could not fall fast asleep until when it was 12 a.m. That was when I found myself waking up in my own dream. My guy was waiting for me outside. He told me that I was supposed to wear this long dress that I had, which was white in color. And he said, I want you to wear that one. So I then wore it, and then I got into his car. But something told me to look around, and I saw that at the back seat there was a coffin that was there. When he saw that I had seen this coffin, somehow this made him to be very angry. He started shouting at me, and I woke up. When I woke up, I then saw that there was a text message that he had sent to me. So the text message, it was really weird. Before I could even understand what he was trying to tell me, that text message, it just disappeared from the chat. And this was what made me to be very suspicious. On the night when we were supposed to go to this other beautiful house, when we arrived there, Brother Nashi, this man, the mistake that he did was that he gave me the keys to the front door as well as the remote. So I was supposed to lock the door because he was busy calling this other guy and he was chatting with him on the phone. I did not lock the door. I hid these keys. He asked me if I had locked the door, and I told him that yes, I had locked the door, but I was feeling very nervous. First of all, this house was too big. He did not want to tell me whose house was it. And when we went to bed, I just kept on feeling really bad, and then I had a voice that told me not to fall fast asleep because there was something bad that was going to happen. I pretended as if I was snoring. That was when he received a phone call. When he received that phone call, he thought that I was fast asleep. He was speaking with this other guy who had a thick Nigerian accent and asked for my name. He spoke my name and asked if I was perfect. Then this guy said, she is perfect. She is perfect. The ancestors are going to be pleased. And the man asked if I knew, and he said, no, she does not know about the sacrifice. She is the sacrifice. I felt my heart beating so hard against my chest. I wanted to run away. Something in me was telling me to wake up, to scream, to run away. But then I stopped myself and I said, no, if I do that, this guy definitely is going to choke me to death. I waited and I continued snoring, pretending as if I was fast asleep. This guy, the moment that he got out of bed, as he was headed for the bathroom, I also just walked outside. The moment that I reached the front door, I heard him screaming my name. I got outside. I was half naked. I don't want to lie to you. I ran and I ran. This guy, he was looking for me. The only thing that saved me was that at the end of the street, there was a drainage system. So I ran into that water drainage system and I hid myself. Lucky enough, this guy, he was just speeding, over speeding. He turned around. He did not even see me. And I heard his car as he was driving further and further away. I stayed there. I don't know for how long, until when it was somewhere past 5, when I heard that people were now driving around. That was when I got out of that drainage system and I started running. No shoes, no what. All that I wanted to do was to go to the main road. When I arrived at the main road, there was a taxi there. And I jumped into that taxi. They asked me, and I said that there was a Nigerian guy who wanted to kill me. They said, let us go to his house. And I said, no, it is fine. I was just shaking. The man asked me if I had any money, and I said, no, I do not have any money. Those were the people that helped me until I was taken straight to the taxi rank that took me back to the location where I stay, but I could not tell anyone that this was what had happened to me. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admin who helped us with this translation. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.